I had an issue with loving myself, so it didn't matter who was standing in front of me. I basically was going to nitpick them because I was looking for reasons for the relationship to not work because I was not fully satisfied within myself. I had about 6 relationships in the matter of 12 years. A couple lasted a couple years, couple a year, but basically not real long-term relationships because in the back of my heart and mind, I knew 1 or 2 things was off, 1 or 2 things was missing. I didn't look at them like they were my wife. When I decided that it was time for me to date again after the last relationship I was in, I thought, okay, let's do this. So I got on a couple dating apps and oh boy. Well, at that point I had learned that relationship is kind of a mirror. So whatever you're attracting into your life, you are the magnet. So whatever is showing up, you better watch out and pay attention, love bug, because it's showing how much you love yourself at that moment. Well, the first one I attracted was a raging alcoholic that was hiding it. So I thought, oh, Amy, maybe you're not ready. And I backed up a minute and I thought, no. So I shut that down and I was like, no, universe, that's not right. You know, the universe wants you to shut it down, to say, this is not for me. Let's move on to something better. So I did. The next one, I just wasn't that physically attracted to her, to be honest. And she was so sweet. We loved being in nature together. And I thought, ooh, this is so healing. I love being in nature. Maybe I'll like her more eventually. My kids looked at her and was like, Mama, what are you doing? Here's the funniest part. My kids have never spoken in 12 years about anyone negatively. So for them to look at me and literally say, Mama, you can do better. I was like, okay. I actually value their advice. Why? Because they don't constantly bitch and speak up in a negative way. They actually never do. They usually love everyone I bring around. So therefore, if they're saying something negative, you gotta go. You got to go. So that was enough of that. I let her go. I thought, okay, I want to manifest my partner. Everything I read, everything I hear says write it down. Actually, a client was like, Amy, you need to write it down. I recently did that and I found my partner. So I was like, fine. So I took my best friend. We sat down at breakfast and I said, we are both going to write down what we want in a partner. So we did. I didn't speak too much about physical attributes. I spoke more about what I wanted them to show up with. And I left it in my Jeep, to be honest. I just left it there in front so that I could see it all the time. I get back on the dating app and I saw this girl and I was like, wait a second. It says she's out of state. And I was like, oh, but dang, she's really cute. But one of the things I wrote down was that she wasn't too far away. But I was like, well, maybe. So I was like, okay. So I swiped right. We matched. She was in Tennessee. And I thought, well, she's cute enough. Maybe. So we started talking for about 6 weeks. I matched with her. She came down twice in 1 month. I thought, ooh. And I was so excited. Everything seemed like bliss. Finally, it was time for me to go visit her. So I get on a plane, I go to Tennessee. She picked me up. Oh my gosh, she had everything planned out so beautiful. All my favorite drinks, snacks, everything. I thought, Lord, look at you. I'm getting good at this manifesting thing. This is great, right? So before I went on the trip, I said to her, well, what do you want to do when I'm there? I said, it'd be fun to do some Reiki. And she's like, what's that? And I told her it's like energy healing. So she really wasn't on the spiritual plane, I wouldn't say. She was just open to it. So she asked around. She found someone that her brother had actually gone to, and it was called the Heart Center in North Carolina. So we were actually going to have to drive like a good hour and a half, 2 hours to get there through a mountain. So when I got there, she's like, guess what? I've got Reiki planned for us the next morning. I was like, hot diggity dog, this is awesome. Okay, here we go. That first night was amazing. And then that morning we get up early and she's like, by the way, I didn't realize the path that we have to take is called like Dragon's Trail or something. And come to find out, it's like the curviest road in the United States through a mountain, babe. They have people posted on the sides everywhere because they take little pictures of you because it's like for the cars that drive fast. You know what I'm saying? No railing, no nothing. Extremely high. I felt like I went on this odd emotional journey through the mountain. I'm from Florida, babe. I was laughing and crying all at one time. It was unreal. I thought, God, what are you doing to me? This girl's gonna think I'm freaking crazy, because I was freaking the fuck out bad. She's like, oh my God, you're really scared. I'm like, I don't think I'm scared. I don't know what I am right now. I don't know what's happening. Like, why is the ground so far away? Babe, I've flown before. I don't know what was happening. It was crazy. So we finally make it to the heart center. I was happy to let her go first. I just needed to calm down. I was grateful we were sitting still. The lady was so nice. She took her in. I didn't go in with her. I was like, okay. She stuck me in this little love room that was called the cafeteria, but it had all like instruments and books and all these beautiful things around. And I was happy to be sitting there for 2 hours. She spent 2 hours on her, 2 hours on me. And I'm thinking the whole point in this Reiki was to draw us closer together. It's going to realign our chakras, our energy, and we're going to love each other, right? No, that's not what happened. I was so happy when we left. Well, let me tell you this little piece. In the mountains, we didn't have phone service. So the whole 4 hours we were there, she wasn't getting messages and neither was I. But when we came down off that mountain, we were. So then she started immediately stopped touching me and started being really distant. And I was like, what the hell just happened? So that night we had salsa lessons planned with her brother. Her brother was so excited to meet me because he was actually very similar to me. He was very religious, then came out as gay and left his wife. He was even confused, I could tell, why she was acting so weird. So fast forward, all night was weird. The next morning, she wakes up, acting weird still. She looks over at me, crocodile tears. She goes, I'm scared to tell you the truth, says that she got a text message from some straight girl that had a crush on her too. And that obviously she had had feelings for her before and was pretty much just dropping me, just like she had never met me. On the same exact day, my current girlfriend, Megan, was at a Friendsgiving. And at that Friendsgiving, a girl came up to her and said, hey, Megan, do you know this girl named Megan, another Megan? She said, I'm working with her, and I thought maybe you could give me a little in with her if you knew her. And immediately, Megan pictured my face. We were already friends on social media. And so she brought up my picture on Facebook. She said, she has a best friend named Megan. That's who you're talking about. She showed her my old best friend. No, not her. So because she did that, it brought my algorithm forefront for my current girlfriend, Megan. So that all of a sudden she was seeing all my posting where she hadn't seen it really in years. So then, of course, in that week's time, I was posting just a few random little pictures. It was Thanksgiving, so I posted a picture of me and my daughters. And she said, Amy, because I kept seeing your stuff, I clicked on your page. And then I saw that you had lost your mom and I just lost mine. And I just really felt like the universe was telling me to reach out to you. So it was 2 people with the same exact name. One released me from dating her. One was just someone that basically brought my image up into my girlfriend's reality. But the crazy part about it is, how are they going to bring us together on the same exact day with the same name? So it's a confusing story, but it's truly miraculous. I've grown so much and I've learned one thing. That it doesn't matter how miraculous your story is, you're still human beings with trauma. And what I've currently learned is that there's this thing called attachment styles, and it's how you handle each other in a conflict that matters the most. So as much as my beautiful partner is so fabulous and so fitting for me, and I love her dearly, and I hope that we marry one day, I recognize that our attachment styles are different. And so that means that we approach conflict differently. The good news is we're both very conscious beings, and we're choosing to heal our emotional traumas together and continue to grow. I believe that that's actually why a lot of my relationships have not worked out. We had different trauma responses during conflict, which created toxicity because we were unaware of all of that. What I've learned about myself since I've been with Megan is that because I actually love her, it's brought out my anxious attachment style more. I feel more anxious because I want to keep her. I feel like I want to control the situation more because I actually think she's the whole package. So then I've had to recalibrate myself to moving back into the secure attachment style, because I'm not going to be the person that blows somebody up. That's not me. I can't do it. It's a tendency that I want to react that way because of a trauma response, because you don't want to lose something. You want to hold on. I'm not going to do that. Being secure is saying, I'm not going to do that. That's what I believe healing is saying, I feel the urge to want to be this way, but I'm choosing to stand back, breathe deep, be calm, and know that all is well. And I don't need to overreact. I'm not in present danger. I think sometimes we act like a tiger is chasing us. Let's overreact. Let's do this. Let's do that. No, nobody's chasing you. Take a deep breath. Calm down. It's all okay. We're so dramatic as human beings sometimes when we don't need to be. How I actively practice choosing love over fear is a conscious, everyday thought process. It's every time I see myself feeling frantic that I'm reacting out of fear. I have to calm myself down and say, hey, I lead with love. It's a conversation that you're having in your brain. One of my favorite quotes is, your perception of me is just a reflection of you. Now my reaction to you is the awareness of me. If you say, Amy, you are a little selfish bitch, and I know that I'm not, I'm gonna say, are you having a bad day? Because I might be selfish at times, but not every day, and damn straight not today. So what's going on with you, love bug? Do you need a hug? Why are you being mean to me right now? Are you not loving yourself? But that's because I'm secure, right? If I wasn't, I would take that personal. I would allow it to trigger me, and I'd say, no. What are you doing calling me that? Maybe that's you, and start this back and forth. But wait. Now, that doesn't mean that your childhood trauma won't come up. It absolutely will. But it means that when that trigger shows up, that's a place that still needs healing. So instead of reacting, we should breathe, look at it, pay attention to what you're feeling, and then try to heal that and say it's okay. Nurture that child. Your brain is supposed to be the nurturing mom, not the critical mom. When you get with that program, that's actually you loving you. When you become that nurturing mom in your brain, then I'd say you found the ticket to loving yourself. And guess what? When you do that, you can show up for someone else. And when you do that, you can find the love of your life. It's not easy telling people about the traumas that you've gone through, the things that you've learned, and where you are now. I had to find myself for a long time. I knew that a lot of people made a lot of assumptions about me, and I had to learn to be okay with me no matter what their assumptions were. And until I could do that, there's no way I was going to be okay with a partner. You hear that? Until I was okay with me, there's no way I was ever going to have a normal ass relationship. It's not possible. It is not possible. I had to learn to be okay with the fact that I chose to be gay, that it was my choice, that I wanted to be that way, that I chose to let go of a husband. I had to be okay with all of that, or I was never going to have the healthy gay relationship that I desired to have. It's about what we believe that other people believe about us determines the way we act. Now, if we're fully okay with the way we present ourselves to the world, it doesn't matter what people think. But I think where we get in trouble is we continue to worry about what people think, and then we orchestrate our life accordingly. So in other words, stop worrying about what people think. It doesn't actually matter. They weren't born with you and they're not going to die with you. How about you make yourself happy? That's what I think. Work on creating the life that you desire, not based on what you think other people are thinking about you, because it's not going to matter.